With the absence of a government's ban on carrying out IndiHome, transportation observers and Secretary General of the Jakarta City Transportation Council, Devi Anggra, urged the public to be wise when deciding to go home for Eid by sticking to strict health protocols and consciously carrying out rapid antigen tests to ensure that they are free of COVID-19 before traveling long distances. Devi also emphasized that the government must strictly conduct checking at the checkpoints, where travelers must be ensured that they hold the rapid antigen results that declare themselves free from COVID-19. Another thing that must be highlighted is the occupancy rate of public transportations, which must comply with the government regulations so that the transmissions of COVID-19 in public transportations can be suppressed.
Ya. Kalau dari masyarakat ya, pertama harus sadar diri ya. Ketika udah vaksin, oke, boleh mudik. Nah, ketika belum harus sadar diri bahwa harus melakukan tes minimal antigen. Ketika hasilnya negatif, ya boleh saja pulang, tetapi tetap dengan standar protokol kesehatan ya, tetap menerapkan 5M. Nah, apabila reaktif ya, kalau sayang sama keluarga di rumah ya jangan pulang sih. Dan kemudian ketika pulang itu kan pasti silaturahmi ya, ya mengurangi interaksi itu dan sebisa mungkin tidak berkeliaran ke tempat rekreasi ya, karena kan pasti penuh, kecuali kalau memang tempat rekreasi itu tidak penuh sih. Kemudian kalau dari pemerintah ya mesti memperbanyak checkpoint ya.
Devi added, if the community and the government can work together in implementing hard protocols during Eid homecoming, it is believed that the number of COVID-19 transmissions can be reduced, especially with vaccinations which are still ongoing. From Jakarta, Rizka Ayu, Zulkifli for IDX Channel.
Government through state electricity company boosts electricity at a vaccination spot in Senayan, Jakarta by preparing 1 million volt ampere electricity. The additional electricity is kept in 2 power banks.
All state-owned enterprises have its own role to support government's vaccinations program. For Electricity Company or PLN, the company adds more electricity supply at vaccination spot in Senayan, Jakarta. General Manager of Distributions Unit for PLN Jakarta area, Dodi Pangaribuan, stated that 1 million volt ampere additional power is environmental friendly because it operates without air pollutions or noise pollutions compared to the genset usage. For Vaccine's cool box, it uses uninterruptible power supply or UPS of 30,000 volts amperes, whereas the power supply for this vaccination center has 3 layers of backup supply from 150 kilovolt substations and a different 20 kilovolt distribution substations, so that if the main supply is interrupted, then the electricity will be diverted into a backup supply.
Sesuai dengan permintaan, sampai sekarang ini baru permintaan itu 1000 kPa atau 1 juta PA, 1 juta volt ampere. Nah, ini kami supply dari 2 buah power bank, ya, karena ini power bank ini merupakan program unggulan PLN Jaya, masing-masing 1000 kPa, ya, sehingga satu power bank bisa sebagai pasokan utama, kemudian yang satu lagi sebagai backup.
Not only the vaccination center in the Senayan area, Dodi added that his party also supplies electricity to other vaccine locations, such as the locations of the Ministry of Health's vaccination spot in South Jakarta. From Jakarta, Adi Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
The Financial Services Authority hopes fintech to strive better lending quality, better equity capital governance, and reliable assessment system. Those are important factors in maintaining lender trust as well as the sustainability of the fintech funding business.
The digital ecosystem plays an important role during the pandemic, one of which is fintech lending. Based on Indonesian Joint Funding Fintech Association data, the loans distributions total through fintech reached 155.9 trillion rupiah, with a growth in credit distributions of 27%, reaching 74 trillion rupiah by the end of 2020. Spokesperson of Financial Services Authority, Bambang Budiawan, stated that the need for funding in Indonesia is very large, but yet it has not been fully explored, especially in the markets outside Java. And that way, he considered it important to maintain people's trust to fintech. It is important to educate the people to use funds in sustainable manner. Moreover, the fintech industry has shown a faster recovery during the pandemic. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Stay tuned on Market Headlines because we will be right back after this quick break.
Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat?
Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Pelantikan Presiden Amerika Serikat terpilih Joe Biden diyakini akan meningkatkan penggunaan energi terbarukan.
Pertama dari melemahnya IHSG di hari ini, pemirsa, industri turun 2,43%.
PT Aneka Tambang TBK atau Antam ini mengajukan banding atas putusan Pengadilan Negeri Surabaya. Saham Antam minus 6,73%, level 3.000-an sudah ditinggalkan.
Dijadikan sebagai salah satu alasan atau momentum untuk orang take profit ya, gitu ya.
Welcome back to Market Headline. The latest move by central bank to boost property sector is bearing regulations to allow 0% down payment for mortgage. But however, Real Estate Indonesia assessed that the banking sector seems still hard to approve mortgage proposal these days, so the stimulus doesn't give maximum impact to the property sector.
The latest move by Bank Indonesia to relax down payment regulations to boost property sales is expected to move the appetites of consumers, with the former facing much reduced purchasing power as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. However, Chairman of the Real Estate Indonesia, Paulus Totok Lucida, said that the stimulus would be more optimal if there are those who work strongly from other sectors that support a bank approval for mortgage. Real Estate Indonesia also stated that there were only few mortgage approved by banks during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to him, banking sector seemed worried about disbursing the credit because people's purchasing power was shrinking. In addition, there is a fear that debtors will not be able to pay the installments because of the unstable working environment. This is why the conditions for credit disbursement were very tight during COVID-19 pandemic. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Last year, property market was under pressure and Indonesia's economic growth in 2020 had a market slow demand and oversupply. And to offset the slow trend and to spur the household consumptions, of course, which accounts for more than a half of the country's economy, Bank Indonesia is bearing regulations to allow 0% down payment for mortgages. But then, is it enough to offset the market slow demand? Therefore, we will have further discussions with Mike Brumel as the Managing Director of property consultancy firm Colliers Indonesia. Hello, sir.
Hello, Clara. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. So with the economic growth projections of below 5% according to the World Bank, it seems that 2021 will remain a challenging year for property market. But however, it has been nearly 3 weeks since Indonesians can buy a house without a down payment. Does this affect Indonesia's property industry significantly?
Well, I think the reduction in the required down payment is only impactful if the various banks agree to make loans without a down payment. And I think that will require some additional risk taking on the part of the bank. So I have a suspicion it may not be as impactful as the government would like it to be. I think the reduction in the VAT will probably have much more of an impact.
All right, sir, as we know that the central bank has relaxed the loan to value or LTV or financing to value or FTV ratios, as you taught us before, which is the ratios between the loan and asset value up to 100% up to December 2021. So do you think the period is enough to boost property industry to be in the pre-pandemic situation?
I think actually it's a very short period of time, and as I said, I think the reduction in required down payment via BI may not be necessarily implemented by as many banks as the government would like. So I think it may not have as long of an impact as would be ideal, and I think there are some longer-term things that could help the government boost the property industry, and that would be a reduction in interest rates.
All right, so you think that by December 2021, it's not enough for a central bank to spur this stimulus. So how long do you think that it needs to make the property sector back into pre-pandemic situation?
I think that if the government can continue it on through 2022, I think that would be good for the industry.
I see, 2022. All right, sir, as we know that you say that the banking sector is kind of hard to spur the loan because, you know, the people purchasing power is weakened, and that is a good point. But actually, which area is best to apply the incentives? It is for the suburban area or the metropolitan area?
Well, I think the suburban area, I think, would be the most positively impacted because the reductions, as I said, will primarily, the reduction in VAT will probably have the biggest impact. And I think that is only in effect for the lower priced properties. And the lower priced properties are in the suburban areas. There's actually quite a big oversupply of apartments in the metropolitan or urban areas. But I don't think a reduction in interest rates or even a reduction in down payment is going to be making a lot of difference to the condominiums that are already in existence in the downtown area.
All right, sir. So how do you see Indonesia property opportunity in 2021 as a whole?
Well, actually, the single-family housing market is probably one of the bright spots in the property business these days. I think, as you can imagine, hotels, logistics properties, shopping centers, they're not doing quite as well as the single family. I think people are working from home, and as a consequence, they are willing to invest in the places they live. And I think the working from home policy will probably continue even once the pandemic is over. I think a lot of companies will allow their employees to work from home, so people like to have nicer accommodations, perhaps bigger homes. And they might be able to live a little farther away from the downtown area. That's where they work.
All right, so I really like your optimism in here for the property industry to rebound again in 2021. But do you think how long it takes for the property industry in Indonesia to get back in normal situations like in a pre-pandemic?
Well, we recorded a drop in single-family sales by about 29% between 2019 and 2020. And we are already seeing some positive signs, even aside from the government actions of reducing the VAT and reducing the down payments. We see that a lot of developers are very interested in the single-family market. It seems to be fairly healthy, and there doesn't seem to be a big oversupply of single-family homes. So we see that as a very positive area for the property industry this year and next year.
Oh, yes, sir. As you stated before, that single-family market situations is really good enough for the property industry. So what do you think about, has real estate entered the recovery phase right now?
Well, we are starting to see some positive stuff, as I said, and I think we have a lot of developers that are entering this market. The developers who were primarily focusing on apartments before are now focusing on landed housing. And additionally, we see a lot of landowners that are having financial problems. So what that likely means is that land prices will drop, and that will also probably decrease the cost of housing for home buyers. So that's also a positive reason why there might be a recovery, at least in terms of people buying landed houses.
All right, sir. So we hope nothing for the best for the property sector to Indonesia to get back to normal situations again, whereas in the pre-pandemic situations. Thank you for your time with us, sir.
You're more than welcome.
Yes, viewers, Market Highlights will be right back after this quick break.
IDX Channel, the Indonesia Stock Exchange channel, is the authorized capital market channel in Indonesia. To give references to global investors, IDX Channel also presented the news about the dynamic of Indonesia's economy, business, and capital market in English. IDX Channel also have different types of programs. They are Special Dialogue, Market Opening, Market Review, IDX First Session Closing, IDX Second Session Closing, Market Headlines, and News Screen. IDX Channel is aired 24 hours a day with 5 hours live program from Indonesia Stock Exchange trading floor. Our vision and mission as the only capital market TV channel in Indonesia that is committed to improve the capital market knowledge in the country. News that had been delivered on IDX Channel can also be seen on our digital platforms, so you can give yourself an update about informations anywhere and everywhere. IDX Channel can be watched through Vision Channel, First Media Channel, IndiHome Channel, and Vision Plus, and also live streaming on idxchannel.com. IDX Channel provides information from around the world from different perspectives. We provide you various investment strategies, stock options, inspiring figures for your business references. IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel.
Yes, viewers, let's take a look at Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. So earlier today, JCI was open at a level of 6,330.67, and approaching the closing time of the first session, the index is on the level of 6,312.36, and the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. The index was closed at a level of 6,301.13. In short, JCI went down 0.87%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's reading, we got trade that went up 2.17%. We got agriculture that went up 0.8%. While meanwhile, MISC industry went down 2.38% and constructions went down 1.61%. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Rupiah was open at level of 14,420. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar and was closed at a level of 14,380. In summary, Rupiah went up 0.43%. Not only strengthening its sales base in domestic market, Indosement Tunggal Prakarsa or INTP will also strengthen its export sales this year by exporting 600,000 tons of cement and clinker.
Not only strengthening its sales base in the domestic market, Indosement Tunggal Prakarsa will also strengthen its export sales this year. President Director of Indosement Tunggal Prakarsa, Christian Kartawijaya, said that in 2021, the company plans to export a total of around 600,000 tons, consisting of white cement and clinker products. Christian continued the company has received a long-term contract for sales to Brunei Darussalam. Export sales are also directed to China and other countries. Domestically, Christian sees that the prospect of the cement industry is still quite good. This is supported by a number of projects included in the company's pipeline, including the road connecting Ancol with Kapuk, the construction of the Brebes Industrial Estate, and the construction of the second phase of Mass Rapid Transit after E. There are also the Pateman Port project and the South Jakarta Cikampek project. On the other hand, the stimulus in the property and residential sectors, such as the tax stimulus and the provision of 0% down payment, is considered sufficient to have a positive effect on the cement industry. Although the cement outlook is expected to improve, the company said it has no plans to expand its factory. Christian said currently the national cement production capacity reached 115 million tons, while consumption for 2020 is only 62 million. From Jakarta, IDX Channel team reported.
Cooking oil producer Sinarmas Agro Resources and Technology managed to record performance growth in 2020. The company generated revenues of 40.43 trillion rupiah or 11.7% higher than 2019.
Cooking oil producer Sinarmas Agro Resources and Technology managed to record performance growth in 2020. Based on the company's financial report, the issuer under stock code SMAR generated revenues of 40.43 trillion in 2020, or 11.7% higher compared to the 2019 realization. Meanwhile, the sales consisted of sales of the consumer product business integration segment and trading activities amounting to 35.83 trillion, the plantation segment amounting to 5.81 trillion, and other segments amounting to 2.93 trillion. However, the company's cost of revenue only increased by 7% to 34.55 trillion. In addition, the company also managed to record an increase in interest income of 20.07 billion and other income of 516.55 billion. From that, the company booked a net profit amounting to 1.53 trillion. The acquisition skyrocketed 71.2% compared to the 2019 acquisition. IDX Channel team reported.
Affected by COVID-19 pandemic throughout 2020, Astra Auto Port recorded a 23.3% decline in revenue to only 11.86 trillion rupiah.
As a result of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, Astra Auto Parts, or issuer under stock code Auto, last year experienced a correction on income of more than 20%. Auto's annual report shows that the bottom line position has also dropped. Auto experienced a 23.2% decrease in revenue to 11.86 trillion from the 2019 position of 15.44 trillion rupiah. The company's revenue from the manufacturing business amounted to 5.3 trillion and from the trade business of 6.6 trillion rupiah. The company's gross profit position was also eroded to 1.58 trillion. Operating profit in 2020 was 133.7 billion, while in 2019 it was 545.7 billion rupiah. Thus, the net profit was also eroded to 2.24 billion, or 99.6% lower than the profit in 2019. According to the President Director of Auto, Hamdani Zulkarnain Salim, last year was indeed full of tough challenges. He also emphasized that the various negative impacts caused by the COVID-19 pandemic had an impact on the decline in the company's financial performance in 2020. IDX Channel team reported.
Step aside from market conditions as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role on current economic situations. Here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close of market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, the Trustworthy Economic Business and Capital Market Channel. I'm Kulata Wijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.